All right, got all drenched, did the elliptical, did some push-ups, got some weights in, feeling really, really good. I've got some guests coming for the Airbnb, and I don't have a lot of time. I won't have a lot of time because then after I get them sorted out with the Airbnb, I have some other work to do. And I promised myself I'd make a video. So, we're gonna make a fucking video. And today is the anniversary, the 24th anniversary of me joining the United States Marine Corps in Parris Island, South Carolina is where I went to boot camp at. So if you are taking that step to be a Marine, congratulations. We're gonna talk about the first day. So actually, ironically enough, I was in South Carolina earlier, actually, so it's still May. I was in South Carolina earlier this month, and I was in Charleston. And Charleston is where I flew into for my first day in the United States Marine Corps. This last visit, it's only like an hour and a half drive from Charleston to Parris Island. I just didn't have the time. I didn't have a rental car. I knew it'd be a lot of money, a lot of expense to get out there. And while great as that would be, I knew after like 20 minutes, it'd be like, all right, well, I gotta drive an hour and a half back, and I spent $150 for the rental car, and then not including gas, and then time with the stuff that I was doing out there. It just wasn't practical. Next time. So first day, a lot of memories came back when I got to the airport at Charleston. And when you get off the plane, I remember thinking, it's clear as day, it's 24 years ago. I was 19. And I was about, certainly a lot skinnier, but I had certainly a different mindset, a weaker mindset, because it's my first time, even though I had been through a lot of traumatic experiences and had to act in a very adult-like manner for a long period of time. Here it is now, people are yelling at you and blah, blah. So it's boot camp, and it's Marine Corps boot camp. So everybody has these basically manila folders, and as far as I know, really not much has changed. And I remember thinking, I was talking to some other guy who was in the same process, getting off the plane, and I remember thinking, how are we gonna get to Parris Island? And I saw this tall, lanky guy in the Marine Corps Charlie uniform, basically short sleeve shirt, ribbons, and a khaki shirt, and pants, blue pants. I was like, oh, there's a Marine, he's gonna help us get sorted out to Parris Island. And that's when the yelling began. Get online, get online. I'm like, what does that even mean? And then we had to get our faces right into the windows. So here we are, I think there's like 20, 25 of us coming in from Baltimore. So basically I grew up in Philadelphia, joined out of Philadelphia, but the MEPS, the Military Interesting Processing Station, was in Baltimore. And so then we flew out of Baltimore to Charleston. And so our faces are pressed against the glass, and we got this guy yelling at us. And you got the guys, I remember clear as day, the baggage handlers were looking down at us, laughing at us. And it's like, oh fuck, I can't believe I'm doing this shit. It's happening. So they took us downstairs. They have a place set up for specifically that, for processing the recruits to Parris Island from the airport in Charleston. And I'm sure I'm virtually certain something like that exists at San Diego. So here we are in this room, we're getting our paperwork processed, going up the list. And we get on a bus, and there's a bus waiting for us, and the guy who was processing us, some admin guy. Now I look back at it, oh, he's just an admin guy. He wasn't a drill instructor. But it's an efficient way to get you sorted out, get on the same mindset and follow orders. Immediate obedience to orders. And I said something cocky like, have a good time at boot camp, shits and shitheads, and dude, fuck. Anyway, so again, an hour and a half drive from Charleston to Parris Island. And we're on the bus, and kind of make some chit chat and some aspects of bravado, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fucking show these drill instructors what's up. And some people were just quiet. I was just quiet. I was talking to one guy. For some reason, I remember he was from Kentucky, and he was like, he said something that threw me back. He was like, I don't mean this is an offensive way, so don't get offended. If you get offended, well, I'll tell you. And he's like, you know, I ain't never seen a Negro before. I said Negro, and which in itself is can be an offensive word, adjective, to apply to somebody. But he didn't mean it in a racist way. He was just very matter-of-factly, I ain't never seen a Negro before. And we're talking 2001. So this is not like 1901, or, you know, I'm not Highlander, where I went to boot camp in 1901. And I was like, wow, you've never seen I never saw a white dude in my school. I was like the complete opposite. I've never seen a white dude in my school. There was like 2. Me and another guy whose name was Mike as well. Anyway, so we get to, the bus arrives. Bus driver goes in, out there for a minute, and the drill instructor comes. He's a short little guy too. Comes, you know, he gives a little speech, welcome aboard Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island. And then he's like, you're safely going to get off my bus and all my yellow footprints. Of course, he's yelling. So you get off, get online, you have these yellow footprints. This is the first and last time you're ever going to stand on these yellow footprints. I mean, of course, you can go back and take a picture, of course, but as a recruit, and you're on his yellow footprints, and he's got this little speech. I don't remember exactly everything, but you're now under the jurisdiction of the UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice. You will repeat before and after every answer be sir or ma'am. You understand? Sir, yes, sir. Yeah, do you understand? Sir, yes, sir. So, and then they have these doors. And what passes through these doors are the future of the United States Marine Corps. And so we're passing through the doors, a lot of admin work, and you're up for about 36 hours. And you have your temporary drill instructors. And we'll talk a little bit more in a minute as far as meeting your actual permanent drill instructors. So you have a temporary drill instructor who kind of gets you all set up in the barracks, teaching you the rudimentaries of drill and things of that nature. And then, you know, marching to chow. And you're up for about 36 hours. So if you are going to boot camp, whether it's San Diego or Parris Island in the Marine Corps, I can't talk about the Army or the Navy, but I'm virtually certain it's very similar. Get ready. Bank that sleep as much as possible, because you are not going to just move. You know, your haircut and then all that kind of stuff. And that uniformity thing of getting, not even a haircut, getting your hair shaved. It was terrible. It was cold. And it's a new experience, but you're going to be on the process to starting a brand new adventure. And for those who may be doing that or considering that, I'm envious of you, because if I could have done it over again, I would have made some changes. I would have done a lot of things change, but most things, if you're like anybody in life, I wish I could have done this or done that. And that's really it. The first day of Marine Corps boot camp. You go through those doors, and it's up to you to want to make that change and live by the core values of honor, courage, and commitment. Because you chose the Marine Corps for a reason. You know it's the hardest, you know it's the longest boot camp. Why not join the Navy or the Army? Because of that storied tradition. So let's stack those wins to be the best you that you can be.